Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Ashantia back again with another video. So today we are going to do some custom geode coasters, okay? So I started off with about 8 ounces of resin, and I'm just making sure it's divided equally, so 4 ounces in each cup. For this, you're just going to want to make sure you have resin, of course, some stirring sticks, whatever you want to use, silicone or the wood sticks. And then you're also going to need transparency paper. I'm using this alcohol ink by Let's Resin. It's black. I'm going to put about 6 drops of the alcohol ink in it. And then I am going to follow it up with some mica powder, okay? I believe I did get the mica powder from Art and Glow Resin. Art and Glow Resin, I think that's what they're called. Either way, I'll leave everything linked down in the description so y'all can get those. Alrighty. Okay, and y'all saw how I spilled some of the mica powder. All you need to do is just take some painter's tape, rub it real quick, and then get an alcohol wipe, or if you have just regular alcohol on paper towel, and then just wipey just to clean the mold, because these are going to be half black and then half clear resin with the not gold foil paper, silver foil paper, okay? So y'all can see I'm just making sure that's being mixed really well. And when you're using alcohol inks and mica powder, make sure to scrape the sides really good, so you're thoroughly mixing, okay? Alright, and then I already add the silver foil. So with this, it was more so like a 3-second pour, if that makes sense. I just wanted to make sure I was giving even amounts of the black on the bottom of each coaster, since like I said, they're going to be half and half, because the names are going to go in the clear portion so they can actually be seen. But yes, I'm pretty much doing a 3-second pour. I'm not putting a lot in it because resin is self-leveling, and I want this to be flattened out as thin as possible, since it's going to be 2 layers, because I'm putting down the black and then I'll follow up with the silver at the top, the clear and the silver. And then 3 hours into that, I'm going to be placing the transparency paper with the names on it, and then I'm going to pour more resin on top to seal the name in, okay? So that's what we're doing. So just trust the process, and y'all can continue watching from here, because it's really not much other than me just pouring and stuff. So y'all watch. I'll be back to chit chat in a little bit. Alright y'all, now I am back. We're going to go ahead and pour this clear with the silver foil stuff, okay? Still the same thing, 3-second pour, and we're just going to move it. Yeah. Well, I guess maybe that one's not necessarily a 3-second pour. With that, I'm basically just starting from one end and then carrying it over. Because I want to make sure there's pretty much an equal amount. So y'all just watch how I'm doing it, because I feel like it'll be easier for y'all to just watch versus me just explaining this part, because I really don't know how to explain it other than I'm starting at one end going over to the next. I'm just making sure all of the top part is covered, because it really doesn't matter too much about the middle section, because you're going to be putting the names down and putting another layer of clear resin. So it really doesn't matter if there's little bubbles or anything like that. But I know soon y'all are going to see me start adding more of the resin, since there's still some left in each cup. And then seeing me just really level everything out with a little popsicle stick I have, trying to push them as close as possible together without necessarily mixing them, okay? So y'all watch me while I do that. Alright, y'all, know it's time to get the heat gun. Okay, now you don't really have to use it like too much. I know the reason why I'm using it for such a long time is because it took me a while trying to just get everything together. Then I was like, oh shoot, I need to record. So my resin was already getting warm in the cups when I started. That's why it's not moving as easily. So just be careful, of course, when you're using a heat gun or a torch, whatever heating thingy-mabobber you're using, because you can burn your mold and you don't want to do that at all. It also helps, you know, the heat does help getting the resin to flow, getting everything to connect a lot better, you know, all that good stuff. And you know, as you can see, like after the heat gun, like I'm able to move the resin a little bit easier. It's not as like thick and like goopy as it was previously before I added heat to it, where it was like more so moving in clumps than like kind of like flowy, I guess. I don't know what word I'm trying to find or try to use, I should say, but y'all get what I'm talking about because y'all saw it. See you in 3 hours. But before I go, here's a little close-up of how everything is looking. Okay, so you want to get something like this. So y'all see those little gaps and stuff? It's okay. Those are going to fill up later with the second layer of resin, alright? So I'm back, and now it's time to start placing the names. So those two names are accidentally placed there on the two that are already done because I was trying to measure it out and it kind of fell, and I mean the resin is super tacky at this point, so I was not about to sit here and mess anything up. So y'all can see me putting down the names, okay? Now, of course, please wear gloves. I don't know why I was wearing them. I mean, it was around like 3, 4 in the morning when I was like working on this. So maybe it's because, you know, I was a little sleepy and I was just trying to hurry up. But please, please, please wear gloves, wear your respirator. You don't want no problems, okay? But I find this method works best for me because before I used to like let things cure a full 24 hours before I would add like wording or letters or anything like that. But yeah, that's not the case anymore. I feel 3 hours works best because you're less likely to get bubbles since it's still tacky. You can let the resin cure that way. And then wait you know, another 5 hours or so before you pour that top layer, or you can pour it immediately like I did because that transparency paper is not going anywhere since the resin underneath it is tacky. But you do need to be very careful when you're doing this since the resin is so tacky and it's only been sitting for 3 hours, because you can see like the fresh resin is just kind of like staying in place and not moving as freely how it would normally do if the piece was fully cured. Another thing is, please make sure you're using a level surface because my desk, I had stuff underneath it, so it was not level, unfortunately. So you can see like some of the pieces are pulling more so, I guess, to the left side, I guess. Yeah, right, left. Yeah, I don't know, but it was pulling over to one specific side, but you can see like how it's like really not moving. I did have to go back in with the heat gun to really try to get the resin to move, but it is really hard and you can't move it around too much since that resin underneath it still can be moved with a popsicle stick or whatever, you know, you're using. So just be very, very careful, very, very mindful with that, because even with using the heat, it's just kind of staying in one spot. So you really have to be careful with that. If you are having to use silicone or a wooden popsicle stick to just kind of like push it to fill it up fully so the coaster can be even, do so, but be very, very, very cautious with doing so. With that, I was just removing the little bubbles that were trying to come around the names, but y'all can see like I'm doing that very, very lightly. That had a little, I don't know if it was lint, something fell in it, moved it out the way real quick, but you can see how it kind of like leaves little indents like when you're doing it really rough. So you just need to be really, really, really careful, and if that does happen, you can hit it with the heat gun to try to like, you know, smooth it back out, okay? And always remember, you can always add more resin. I always say do little by little because you don't want the piece overflowing and then you're making a complete mess. That's what you don't want to do. It's better to add little and then fill it up I'm sorry, fill it up little by little, because once you put too much in there, you really can't do but so much to fix it from that point. And the time has arrived. Okay. So here is what we're looking like. Okay, isn't it so cute? Alright, so I just have my little metallic paint marker thingy-mabobber that I think I got it from like Michael's. And you just want to paint the edges or whatever, make them look real cute. Now I know sometimes with this you do need to do a second layer, if it's like smudged or anything, but you need to wait a full 24 to 48 hours before you do the second layer of the paint, because if you do it too soon, like the paint is just going to keep smearing and then less of it's going to be covered, and you don't want that. Okay, that's what we don't want. But the coasters, they definitely came out super duper ubers cute. Now with this is what I was talking about. It pulled all over to the left side. I don't remember what I said before. I don't know if I said the right or the left, but it pulled out a lot to the left, and it's still movable. It's not completely hardened. So even if it was completely hardened, all you need to do is put your heat gun on the hottest setting, wait for it to heat up completely, okay, and then you're just going to apply heat and then use an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to show y'all how to do that real quick. And BT dubs, just so y'all know, I did of course sped this clip up some, because this actually took me roughly like 2.5 minutes to do, because it was pretty much completely cured. It was still a little bendy on the sides, but it was like mostly solid. So yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know, just in case if y'all are doing this and you're like, oh my gosh, it's too hard, it's not coming off fast, is what she did in the video. It's not a problem. I sped this up, because I know sometimes I'd be tripping when I'd be watching tutorials. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not coming out right. I'm like, oh wait, the power of editing. Now the moment we've all been waiting for, the final reveal. They came out so stinking cute. Now if you do have an issue with the name coming up a little bit, just pour another layer of resin once it's fully cured, sand it down if need be to level it out. But I had made a total of about 20 something of these for my mom's wedding. They came out looking beautiful. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.